are going home smiling after the announcement of results in the December 15 by-elections. Judge Chifundo Kachali declared Independent Ruben Kanyama as winner in the Mangochi West race. Idi Carlos of UDF has been declared winner in Mangochi Northeast encounter. Omavuto Bokos is the victor in the Palombe North contest. Two petitions were presented to Malawi Electoral Commission by different candidates, but they have been dismissed for lacking merit. The by-elections come after courts nullified area elections. Speaking at the ceremony, Judge Chifundo Kachali bemoaned lack of women participation in the election. He also bemoaned low voter turnout. For the BSN Blantyre, this is Emmanuel Kibana.
The Consumers Association of Malawi, KAMA, has advised Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, to improve its service delivery as it formulates its customer service charter. KAMA Executive Director John Kabito says they want ESCOM to act with speed in attending to faults, connections, and on alleged corrupt practices involving ESCOM employees. Alfred Guta reports.
ESCOM customers in the southern region had no kind ways for the power utility body. The customers took ESCOM to task to address various inefficiencies in its service delivery. They raised their concerns in Blantyre Monday on the sidelines of Customer Service Charter External Stakeholders Meeting. Consumers Association of Malawi, KAMA Executive Director John Kabito wants the power utility body to develop a customer service charter that is responsive to the needs of the consumers. Kabito tipped ESCOM to develop a service charter that is transparent, realistic, and achievable.
One of the critical issues that we are expecting is that of our connectivity. People take time to be connected to electricity. We have noted that. But there are also challenges about the attitudes and the behavior of ESCOM, members of staff, especially those that I think go out there to handle force or either connect a house. The language is bad, and then they also ask for bribes in order for them to do you a service.
ESCOM Chief Executive Officer Dr. Alex Nchiwaya says Malawians should expect an improvement in their service delivery.
That's why we're doing this. Everything else being equal, we're sure Malawians will service, will do the delivery of service much better than what we used to do in the past.
Dr. Nchiwaya said they also hear from the customers in the central and northern regions. The power utility body targets to start implementing the service charter by March next year. For Zodiak in Blantyre, this is Alfred Guta reporting.
And in the week ending, African Parks Limited announced a partnership with USA's Forestry Service to upgrade Nkota Wildlife Reserve into an attractive tourist destination. African Parks Country Representative Samuel Kamoto says the organization has already spent about 7.5 billion kwacha in the past 5 years restocking the park's lost glory, like restocking animal species. Non Kubwe was on the story.
African Parks signed a 20-year agreement with the government of Malawi to manage Nkota Wildlife Reserve, which was at the verge of collapsing in 2015. 5 years into the agreement, African Parks Country Representative Samuel Kamoto says the protected area is now showing signs of life. Among others, the animal population has increased following a translocation program of wild animals, including elephants, from Liwonde to Nkota Wildlife Reserve.
We inherited a park that had numerous problems. So there's so many poaching activities going on in the park. As a matter of fact, there are just very few animals still remaining in the park. There's a lot of logging going on, and I think there was no respect for the park. So everybody would go and cut firewood, go and burn charcoal, do all sorts of things, even growing marijuana. When we just started, we had over 500 hectares of marijuana grown inside the reserve.
Mr. Kamoto says African Parks would want Nkota Wildlife Reserve to be another unique tourist destination from mid next year.
So the first 5 years of our operation here was to try and prepare a product that will give to the tourist. So, bringing in the animals, making sure that we've got the right buildings, roads and things like that, the basic things that you need to have in the park. But now we'll put in another gear and we'll be focusing now on tourism. So tourism means facilities, amenities, advertising.
Nkota Wildlife Reserve covers 1,800 square kilometers. For Zodiac, this is Noah Nkubwi reporting.
You're watching This Week in the News. I am Chancellor Zobanda. We still have got more news shortly after this.
Precious things have a secret formula. While John is busy trying to impress, James discovers Tangu's secret. Tangu uses Purity sanitary products from Purity body wash, Purity hands wash, Purity body lotion to Purity dishwash. After a week of using Purity sanitary products, James won the heart of Tangu. Use Purity sanitary products.
Welcome back. You're with me, Chancellor Zabanda. The headlines as we continue. Late Archbishop Tarsisius Yai laid to rest in Lilongwe. Church to announce interim successor in 8 days. Macra survey confirms Zodiac Radio as highest listenership. Zodiac TV in command among private stations. 2 independents and 1 UDF candidate triumph in by-elections. And trial in the attempted bribery case against Tom Pinganjira nears completion. Now, moving on with the news, trial in the attempted bribery case involving business person Dr. Thompson Pinganjira moved an inch closer to conclusion during the week after lawyers for both sides presented their oral submissions before the High Court. In his submission, Dr. Pinganjira's lawyer, Patrice Mkono, told the court that the state failed to bring evidence to prove essential elements of the offences pertaining to his client, hence prayed to the court to acquit the defendant. However, the SCB Director Renik Matemba dismissed the sentiments. Let's hear from Matemba.
There are a number of issues that we have addressed the court on, but in summary, our case is that the defendant offered a parcel of money to Justice Potani and Justice Tembo. And in our view, according to the evidence that we have, the intention was to influence the decision of the judges that were sitting as constitutional reference case number 1 of 2019. That's our story in summary. The court has not indicated a specific date. What the court has said is when the ruling is ready, they will communicate with us. But the court has hinted that it will be end of January next year, but no specific date has been given.
And later we also heard from Patrice Nkono, Dr. Pinganjira's lawyer.
For the most part, what the prosecution has done is to suggest that our client, the defendant, offered a parcel to Justice Potani, but they haven't gone further to show that such a parcel was offered corruptly. And so the offences under which they're charging our client do not create an offence in terms of offering an advantage, because the parcel would be an advantage in a sense. So the offence is not in the offering of an advantage, it is in the offering of an advantage corruptly. So the point you're making is that if you don't bring any evidence that suggests that that parcel you're talking about was offered corruptly, then you have failed to establish before the court at this stage important elements of the offence which relate to you showing that that parcel that you're saying was offered corruptly.
Now to business news. 2021 is already presenting a bleak picture of the tobacco industry and subsequent earnings from the leading forex earner. Production volumes for that year set to drop by 29 million kilograms from this year's 161 million. Officials from the Tobacco Commission have confirmed to us buyers have reduced demand to 132 million kilograms. Andrew Viano has filed this report.
Expected volumes of tobacco to be produced in the coming crop season has dropped by 18% compared to volumes allocated for last growing season. The Tobacco Commission says Malawi is this time expected to produce 132 million kilograms, down from 161 million kilograms. Tobacco Association of Malawi Tama Trust Chief Executive Officer Nixon Lita is worried this will affect prices for the leaf at the floors next year.
We want to encourage our farmers to produce just as they were licensed by TC. They should not produce above the quotas that were given. Yes, in the long run, this will have a negative impact on our farming operations, as our farmers will not be extending their tobacco fields and or increasing production.
Economist Minwat Tobias says the drop in volumes is clear indication that the green gold is losing economic authority. He advises that it is time Malawi replace tobacco.
If you just take what farmers get, actually the value is sometimes even under 200 million US dollars, which is less than the monthly import bill. Yeah, so we're not getting much. But when the buyers also sell, then we have some additional dollars which cushion our imports. But the key message is this tobacco is dying. We need to find an alternative, but to find an alternative that also has a large employment scale. We employ more people and more institutions, and that's where we have a challenge, and we need to think about that.
Tobacco remains the country's main forex earner. In the 2019-2020 farming season, tobacco raked in $174 million, which is approximately 130 billion kwacha.
And in news from across the borders, the number of civilians forced from their homes by conflict in northern Mozambique has quadrupled this year to 420,000. The United Nations also links the crisis in Cabo Delgado province not just to attacks by Islamist militants, but to a perceived failure to distribute vast mineral and offshore gas revenues to the local population. A senior UN refugee agency official visiting Cabo Delgado described the situation as really dire and urged Mozambique neighbors and the wider international community to intervene in what she said has been for too long an invisible crisis. And that's what we had time for in this edition of This Week in the News. But before we go, another look at the headlines. Late Archbishop Tarsisia Siai laid to rest in Lilongwe Church to announce interim successor in 8 days. Macra survey confirms Zodiak Radio has highest listenership, Zodiak TV in command among private stations. 2 independents and 1 UDF candidate triumph in by-elections. And trial in attempted bribery case against Tom Pinganjila nears completion. Log on to our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. Remember to wear a mask always when you are in crowded places to help contain the spread of COVID-19. My name is Chancey Mozovand. On behalf of the team, enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Nyumba Ichene promotion. This festive season, get a sofa set, a trendy coffee table, and the extendable TV unit from Zoe at only 499,000 Malawi kwacha. Kumaso Zoe furniture, ndi akatswiri popanga dining sets, beautiful beds, kitchen units, ndi zina zambiri. We are located opposite Gateway Mall, next to Simama offices in Lilongwe. Telephone 0888 600 110. Zoe furniture, uniquely different.
Ikasala Yehova litasowa mu mzinda wa Mzuzu. Kwa pafupifupi